Have you ever thought about how much is the most expensive painting in the world? But before that, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and you can also hit the bell button for more updates. People would probably agree that the Mona Lisa, painted by Leonardo da Vinci, is priceless. Putting a price on a masterpiece of this caliber is nearly impossible. However, in 1962, the Mona Lisa was insured for $100 million United States dollars, or around 5 billion in peso, the highest at the time. In today's money, that would be somewhere around 700 million United States dollars, or around 35 billion in Philippine peso, easily making it the most expensive painting. Almost all authors of the most expensive paintings ever sold have passed away and won't be able to create something like this ever. And because of this, the price of these paintings simply raise with time. We represent to your attention the collection of top 10 most expensive paintings in the world. Number 10. The number 5, 1948, by Jackson Pollock, $140 million, or around 7 billion peso. A drip picture. The number 5, 1948 went for United States dollars 140 million when it was sold by David Geffen to David Martinez in the year 2006. An artwork done on an 8 by 5 feet fiberboard, this piece embodies the unique dripping technique used by Pollock, one of the greatest painters in the abstract expressionist style. Pollock has been dubbed Jack the Dripper because of his unique painting technique in which, after placing the canvas on the floor, he used to apply paint by having it drip from sticks, syringes and hard brushes. Ninth, the masterpiece by Roy Lichtenstein, $165 million or more or less 8,250 million in peso. Roy Lichtenstein is among the pioneers of the pop art culture that deflated the macho mystique image of American art and produced something that was more realistic and relatable. His best-known work, The Masterpiece, 1962, features some classic elements of pop art like Ben-Day dots and speech balloons set in a comic strip narrative. Masterpiece depicts a man, possibly the artist, and a blonde woman looking at a canvas, the content which is not visible to the viewer. A speech bubble ensuing from her mouth shows that she is praising the masterpiece in question, even calling it something that would get all of New York excited. Number 8, The New Couch by Amedeo Modigliani, $170,400,000, or around 8,520 million peso. New Couch, aka the Red Nude or the Reclining Nude, is a 1917 oil-on-canvas painting by the Italian painter Amedeo Modigliani. The picture of the naked woman lying on the couch looks erotically realistic yet has a surreal, almost sublime beauty that catches the viewer off guard. There is nothing crass or vulgar about this column of tenderness, the woman is described by Modigliani. Instead, she comes across as a sensual, aroused woman in her prime who is not afraid to give and demand physical pleasure. Number 7, The Les Femmes d'Alger, version O, by Picasso, $179,400,000 or more or less 8,970 million peso in the year 2015. To set a then world record for the most expensive painting ever sold at an auction. This painting is the culmination of a series of 15 works on women of Algiers completed by Picasso, inspired by the 19th century Spanish great Eugene Delacroix. This work perfectly exhibits Picasso's tendency to produce work that is of vintage style, yet remaining completely fresh in approach and presentation. Equal parts kitsch, postmodern and classic, this piece is considered to be the most important Picasso in the hands of a private owner today. 6, The Violet, Green, and Red by Mark Rothko, $186 million, or 9,300 million pesos. Rothko's style is characterized by the use of large canvases and horizontal bands of bright colors. Violet, Green, Red is ambiguously named to allow viewers to form their own impressions. Here, Rothko uses a Spartan palette with the darkest shades at the top, symbolizing the depression that plagued him. The use of vivid colors in a simple pattern exemplifies Rothko's signature style of conveying an intimate message without the use of subjects. This piece was bought for United States $186 million by the Russian businessman Dmitry Rybolovlev from the Swiss art dealer Yves Bouvier in the year 2014. While the purchase has subsequently got embroiled in legal disputes, this piece still remains one of the expensive pieces of art in the world. 5. The number 17A, 1948, by Jackson Pollock. $200 million or more or less 10 billion peso. Abstract Expressionism was a post-World War II art movement that emphasizes on the subconscious and spontaneous creation. This piece of abstract work was created sometime in 1948 and was featured in the 1947 Life magazine article that made the painting a household name. Done on fiberboard canvas using just oil paints, number 17A looks like a messy mirage of patterns and colors. However, a closer look highlights several layers to the painting that were lost on the viewer at a glance. The random patterns don't appear so vague once you observe it up close. It was only much later in 2016 when the piece was purchased by billionaire art collector Kenneth C. Griffin for approx. $200 million. Number 4. Nafia Fe Apoipo, When Will You Marry? By Paul Gauguin. $210 million or around 10,500 million peso. Paul Gauguin's 1892 his painting of two Tahitian girls smashed the world record in February 2015 when it was bought by the Qatar Museums from a private Swiss collector Rudolf Stechelin for an astounding United States $300 million. It depicts two women against a natural landscape, one in a native dress and another in a colonial-style missionary dress, symbolizing the fusion of Polynesian and European cultures. Seemingly unimpressive, this artwork illustrates the authenticity of a rooted culture in a bygone era. Number 3. The Card Players by Paul Cezanne. $250 million or more or less 12,500 million peso. This painting held the record for the most expensive one in the world before the sale of When Will You Marry in 2015. The Card Players had been bought by the Qatari royal family from the Greek shipping magnate George Mbirikos for a whopping United States $274 million in the year 2011. It is an image that has been seen in coffee table books, luxury good magazines and art history curricula for many years now. This iconic image features two stony-faced men sitting at a small wooden table playing cards. The painting style and the use of pastels is classic Cezanne, with the subtle expressions on the faces beautifully conveying two players completely immersed in the game. Toad Interchange by Willem de Kooning. $300 million or around 15 billion peso. Interchange or Interchanged is an oil canvas painting by the Dutch-American painter Willem de Kooning, who belonged to the school of abstract expressionism. The painting was the first of Kooning's abstract landscapes that were completed in 1955. A closer observation reveals several layers to the painting. It symbolizes the transition that Kooning's life was undergoing at that time. It took over 11 years for the change to completely manifest itself creatively. The interchange was just the first of the many landscape portraits that followed. The Kooning, who was known for violently attacking his canvases and vibrant colors, was tamed to a gentler yet intuitive style. Number 1. The Salvator Mundi, attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. $450,300,000 or more or less 22,515 million peso. Salvator Mundi, or Savior of the World, was supposedly painted by Leonardo da Vinci. Many critics believe otherwise. The painting presents Jesus Christ dressed in Renaissance garbs and bestowing benediction, his right hand raised with two fingers crossed, while holding a crystal ball in his left hand. The glass globe in his hand symbolizes crystalline spheres of the heavens. Christ is shown to be the savior of the world and the master of the cosmos. Leonardo was a Roman Catholic, but still deviates from the traditional images of the brass golden globes with a crucifix to the crystal sphere. The present owners of the painting acquired the piece as a very bad shape. The wooden panel was split into two, and the canvas was reportedly repainted to hide the botched repair work. However, all said and done, Salvador